What if 5 new clients called today? Could your business handle it without chaos? Most entrepreneurs, especially solopreneurs, don't fail because they can't find clients. They fail because they can't handle them. Where do you think small businesses get such a bad reputation from? Taking on clients they do not have the capacity to serve. All right. So let's talk about it. How can I handle more clients? It's coming from this week's blog. What makes a business more bankable today? So if you want to follow along with me, you can go to shaycannon.com/bank. I started to say bankability, but I know y'all be having spelling problems, so I try to help you out. Okay. So that's shaycannon.com/bank. All right. Now, at the top of this month, I told you that I have a formula, my business growth ability formula. TM, that's mine, gonna be trademarked, okay? And every entrepreneur climbs and grows through 4 steps based on my formula. That is credibility, visibility, bankability, and profitability. Now, these steps should not be taken out of order, okay? You need to be credible, then you need to be visible, then you need to take all of that to be more bankable, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about this week, is being bankable. Credibility establishes you as the undeniable expert with proof and reputation. Visibility gets you seen by the right people, so your name isn't just another whisper online. But bankability, baby, that's step 3, is where attention transforms into tangible revenue. It's the bridge between being known and being paid. The point where your business stops surviving on exposure alone and starts building predictable income. Bankability matters because without it, credibility and visibility, it's just noise. Okay. It's the stage or the step that ensures your growing audience doesn't just admire you, they invest in themselves through you, paving the way for the last part, which is profitability. Now, I want to get into some strategies that go beyond the normal focuses of your offer, marketing, and sales. We talked about all of that for the past 3 years and definitely this year. This year, I am really looking at the gaps in the things I've shared with you. So let's go into seldom talked about subjects that are as impactful as the ones you hear about all the time. Okay. Again, today we're talking about how do I handle more clients? The answer: operational capacity. It is one of the most overlooked factors in making a business bankable. It's not just about what you can deliver today, but demonstrating that your business can handle growth, opportunities, and sudden demand without collapsing. When a business understands and communicates its true capacity, not what you think it is, the real capacity, okay? It signals reliability and scalability, 2 qualities that give potential clients, partners, and even investors. When I say investors, I don't just mean like JV partners and all of them. I mean even banks, okay? If you need a small business loan, they can with confidence say yes to you, okay? Knowing your capacity isn't about limiting yourself. It's about making intentional choices, setting realistic expectations, and positioning your business to accept bigger opportunities without burning out or breaking down. Okay. In short, operational capacity tells the outside world this business can deliver at a high level every time, which makes it far more attractive and bankable. Okay, that was a lot, and all of that was in the blog, and that's not even all that I have for you today. Okay, on the morning show, I give you more. So I have some strategies for you. Now, let's talk about capacity for a minute. I tell y'all all the time that you need to know your capacity. You need to know your capacity, right? Well, what we don't talk about, and the gap that I found, is a lot of you don't know how to calculate your capacity. So those are the strategies that we're going to go over today, okay? So The top 10 strategies for calculating operational capacity for a typical service-based business. Okay. So, of course, all of it doesn't fit neatly into every service-based business, but we are always talking about the overall basic things that happen in most service-based businesses. Okay. So, if you hear something that you feel like doesn't quite fit, that is your key to write down a question so that we can talk about it. All right. Now, let's go back to our strategies. The top 10 strategies for calculating operational capacity for a typical service-based business. Number one, billable versus non-billable hour ratio. Assess how much of your work week is spent on revenue producing tasks versus admin or marketing. A skewed ratio, okay, skewed means uneven, unbalanced, no harmony, signals capacity issues and impacts revenue projections, okay? If you are always sitting over there doing stuff that is either inside your business or on your business and not necessarily in your business, what could happen, especially with solopreneurs, is how you're servicing your clients may take too long. How you're servicing your clients may not be of excellence because you're the one doing all the things. So, to open up your capacity, you might need to start with, now you definitely need to start with billable versus non-billable hours. And what that will help you do is understand how to start hiring, because a lot of those non-billable hours can be delegated and therefore the client can still be serviced at a higher level and quicker. Okay. Number two, average project completion time. Now, early in the year when we were talking about service-based business invoicing, I told you you need to break down the way you service your clients into phases. Okay. Now, those phases all together is your client project. You need to know how long it takes you to go from them giving you the money to you completing that project. Okay, so track how long it actually takes to deliver a typical service from start to finish, including revisions, client communications, anything that slows that project down. This gives a realistic picture of how much work can be handled at once. Okay, number three, client volume threshold. Determine the exact number of clients you can service simultaneously without compromising service quality or deadlines. Deadlines are key. That's one of the things, again, that gives us a bad reputation when we are the business, because we're missing deadlines, because life is lifing, because we got to do all the things. So we got to watch that, okay? Exceeding this threshold is where burnout and reputation damage happens. All right. So, client volume threshold, you need to know what that is. Number four, utilization rate. Calculate the percentage of your available work hours spent delivering services versus idle and inefficient time. Okay. Now, that has less to do with billable versus non billable and more to do with how are you actually using your time? Are you over there spiraling out, doom scrolling when you know you should be servicing the client? Okay. A low utilization of your time reveals wasted capacity. While over 85% may indicate overextension, a lot of it has to do with you're just not doing your time the best way, right? You're not doing what you're supposed to do in that time that you said that you were going to do that. You're doing this instead. So keep that in mind. Utilization rate. Number five, revenue per hour benchmark. Okay. Analyze how much revenue each hour of work generates. If this is too low, you may not be able to hit revenue goals even when you're fully booked. This is where pricing comes in, y'all. This is where your pricing comes in. So when you're out there, just glad you made a sale and, confidence pricing, just glad somebody's willing to give you some money, that's not enough. They need to give you the right amount of money so that you are hitting not just revenue goals, but you are able to free yourself up from that bargain basement volume, okay, where you got to bring in now for every one client, if you raise your prices, you got to bring in 10 and you don't even know what your capacity is. We need to look at revenue per hour benchmark. Okay. Number six, turnaround time consistency. All right. Review whether your standard turnaround times are met consistently across clients and projects. Inconsistent delivery times can indicate bottlenecks that cap your true capacity. Now, let's talk about turnaround times. Turnaround times uh, don't necessarily directly have to do with deadlines. It is in the peripheral, it is adjacent, but some of you are setting deadlines that you are meeting, but you're meeting them, but your turnaround time is too long, right? How long does it actually take you to do something? And can we make that more efficient so we can push up that deadline and still meet it? Okay, so I hope you picked up on the difference. Number 7, scope creep tracking. Okay, let me tell you what that is. When you all start something, you have what's called, when you start a contract with a new client, you have what's called a scope of work. The things that y'all have agreed that you were hired to do. But if you're not keeping track and comparing everything to that original scope of work, you can easily get off track, which is costing you capacity and money. So track how often projects expand beyond their original scope and how much time and energy that extra work consumes. Unmanaged time going beyond the scope of work silently eats at your capacity. Them people are on your books longer than they should be. They're using up your team longer than they should. They are staying around longer than they should, keeping a spot that should be for a new person. Okay? New money. So keep that in mind. Number 8, resource dependency mapping. Now, I kind of just said something about that, but I'm going to tie it all in. So, list out which parts of your service rely on tools, contractors, and outside vendors, because over reliance on a single resource creates bottlenecks that shrink capacity when those resources fail or lag. Now, what does that mean? That means a minute ago, I said your scope of work can hold your team up, right? But what if you only have one graphic designer on your team that services the clients? As that person is held up, there's not another graphic designer to come in and pick up the slack. That's what resource dependency mapping is. How much of your resources is being taken up by the current clients that's stopping you from bringing in new clients because you don't have those resources available to service the new clients? Again, that could be tools, that could be contractors, that could be outside service providers that you're partnering with. You have to look at it all. All right. Number 9, peak versus off-peak workload patterns. All right. So review when your workload spikes, okay, and when it crashes, because this could be seasonal, it could be monthly, it could be happening within a month. But how well your business manages surges, okay, predictable spikes require planned capacity adjustments to avoid collapse. Now, let me give you a real world example of that. This is why the retail stores around the holidays hire extra people. They know a spike is going to happen in shopping. This is why your common carriers like FedEx and USP hire holiday drivers and driver helpers within the holidays so they can handle the spike. If you don't even know when your spikes are, how are you going to partner to put things in place to handle the capacity? So you first have to identify the pattern of peak and off-peak workload. Okay. Number 10, error and rework rates. Okay. Measure how often mistakes, revisions, and redos occur and how much time they consume, because high rework rates reduce true capacity. You over there doing the same work over again and you're not getting paid for it. Okay. We need to look at that, because now we might need processes in place to make sure we are efficient with getting it right the first time. I have a client right now that is creating some content for their clients, and they're constantly having to recreate. So one of the first things I'm putting in place is a brand voice form. Like, our clients need to fill out things that's about their brand voice so we can hit that mark as close as possible the first time we produce things for their social, right? So if you're having to rework and do stuff, we need to figure out what needs to be put in place so that we hit the mark closer the first time. We're not going to be perfect, but we're closer. That's going to be one or two few redos, okay? So what can you put in place? So measure how often mistakes, revisions, and redos occur, because that's costing you business and capacity. All right. So those were the 10. Let me find my question of the day. Let me grab that. All right, I'm going to drop it in the studio so y'all can be thinking about it. I'm going to drop it over here on YouTube. Hey, Glow, you've been missed, boo. There we go. Question was a little too long for YouTube, so let's take out one word and let's go. Now, why this won't? Okay, there we go. Boom, there you go, YouTube, okay? Now, the question of the day that you need to be thinking about while I recap our 10 strategies is, what is your current monthly capacity? I want you to look at the month, because when we do our revenue goals, we usually break it down by the month. So what is your monthly capacity for servicing clients right now? And which of the strategies that we're talking about today will have the greatest impact on figuring out where you can tighten up to service more people and open your capacity, okay? Adding more revenue, monthly revenue into your business, okay? So think about that question, and I'm about to go over the 10 strategies again. And we're going to start with Dr. Latoya when we finish with the recap. The recap. These are the top 10 strategies for calculating operational capacity for a typical service-based business. And I'm going to give you the strategies without all the extra. Let's go. Number 1, billable versus non-billable hour ratio. Balance. Compare them. Number 2, average project completion time. How long does it take you from taking the money to ending the project with your clients? You've serviced them and they're offboarded. Number 3, client volume threshold. Okay, what's the exact number that you can service at a time? Number 4, utilization rate. What you doing with your time? Okay, some of y'all is not got things going on that's not the best use of your time. How are you using your time? Is it actually on the things that you are supposed to be doing to service the client? Are you balancing working on the business and working in the business? Okay. Number 5, revenue per hour benchmark. And what's happening with this is you could be fully booked, but your pricing is so low, you still struggling financially. So we want to raise those prices so that we're not out here trying to service way more clients based on just us needing more money to survive. Come out of that, raise your prices, look at what your revenue per hour benchmark is, because you're not supposed to be trying to service 30 clients a month just to live and eat. We need to raise prices so that we can service the number of clients that we can serve in excellence, not just to survive. Number 6, turnaround time consistency. How long is it taking you to do these tasks that fulfill the client project? This is not necessarily deadline driven, because you may be meeting deadlines because you're giving yourself too much time to get stuff done. That's that turnaround time. Can we tighten it up? All right. Number 7, scope creep. This is you going back past your scope of work and adding in new stuff, whether it's you being over generous or the client being over requesting. Either way, stick to your original scope of work. All right. Number 8, resource dependency mapping. All right. Sometimes you can't onboard new clients because you don't have the team member available to get started on this part of the service because they're still working with clients already. So what is your resource mapping? Is it time to bring in another person that does that same thing so we can open that capacity? Or are we having the best use of the team that we already have? So we need to look at resource dependency mapping. Number 9, peak versus off-peak workload patterns. When you have a surge in clients coming in, do you also have the staff that's available to take care of that, even if it's temporary or seasonal? Number 10, error and rework rates. Every time you have to do something over and over again without getting paid for doing it again, you are losing capacity, you are losing time, and you are losing money. Okay. Now, let's go back to our question of the day. And that is, what is your current monthly capacity for servicing clients? And which of the strategies we talked about today can help you to figure out how to tighten up so that you can service more people in a month, which means make more money in a month? Let's start with Dr. Latoya Davis.
Yes. So my current capacity is based on when I was working. So actually, these last few days, I've been thinking about how to restructure my capacity. Currently, I accept four one-on-one coaching clients at any time. And I won't do like more than 5 sessions in a week. So I'm pretty set with that. But
Mhm.
now in this new phase, trying to figure out what my new capacity will look like. And actually, just this morning, so this is ironic that this is our topic.
Okay.
I said that come August, I'm going
Mhm.
to open up my coaching calendar to see how I feel with 5 clients at a time,
Mhm.
and start working out when I offer, like right now, my classes are offered in the evening. But again, that was based on my job. So just trying to play with things is the whole point. But
Yeah.
where I need to rework
Mhm.
my stuff is time utilization. I'll be all over the place. So time utilization and focusing that I think will also help.
All right, all right. So the first thing I want to say is this is why we try to transition out of relying on one-on-one clients and transition more into one-to-many. So maybe the answer is not, can I take on another one-on-one client? Maybe the answer is, how do I get my group program out there more and get more people in my group program, since I can scale that one to add in more people and it not necessarily need more of my time because I'm already coaching in certain slots for that program. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I definitely am, but I don't feel like that one doesn't have a capacity issue for me.
Mhm.
I'm pretty locked in on time delivery, all of
Mhm.
those things. I think in my mind now it's like because I have more free time, I'm like, let me utilize the free time, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening in my mind.
I know I'm trying to redirect you, right? Because at the end of the day, what I have found is those one-on-one clients zap more from you than the group clients. Because, like you said, you don't have a capacity issue with the group clients. So why wouldn't we look over here to put more people over here where I already don't have a problem with capacity? I already have it set up for scale, right?
True.
So over in the other place, now you're servicing another client in a slot where you could be out there bringing in more clients. You
Yes.
see what I'm saying?
Yes, I hear that. Thank
So
you.
yeah. So I just want you to make that little shift.
Okay.
A lot of
We're gonna keep it
people,
at 3. YouTube people, if you're here and you wanted me, know that Shay said we keeping it at 3.
listen. I'm just saying. So it is funny because some of us bring in more one-on-one clients where if we just made ourselves a client for ourselves, we would probably grow more. And that's no matter what your service is. Which is the crazy part, right? So if you, what you do for your clients, set a time where you just sat down and intentionally did that for yourself in that slot, how much bigger would your business be, right? So just think about it. Look at him. Look at. No, you didn't do the surprise emoji. But I'm just saying, because the crazy part is, no matter what your service is, if you provided your service for your own business, no matter what that service is, could your business grow? Yes. Yes. Like for me, I teach y'all the path to cash and all this kind of stuff. Now that I've made my own business a client where I sit down and say, all right, boo, what's your path to cash? You know what I'm saying? Heather just made herself a client and she's about to publish her book. Everything that you do, if you make yourself a client of that, no matter the service, you will probably grow. Dr. Tatoya said hit dog is definitely hollering. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. Dr. Tachi is actually great at doing that, by the way. She doesn't just help creators do video. She does a lot of video for herself. Where do you think she gets the creators from? They see her. So keep that in mind, y'all. All right, let's go. Look, hello, there comes some woo. Okay, let me get off Dr. Toy. All right, let's go to Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi, what is your current monthly capacity for servicing clients, and which of the strategies will have the greatest impact on you figuring out how to tighten up and open up that capacity to service more people so that you are making more money?
Good morning.
Good
So
morning.
I wait, say the question again, the first part of the question. I was all there and then
Man, why you acting like the question not in the studio chat? What is you doing?
oh,
You
I'm
over there
sorry.
like
I'm
Shawana?
wait a minute. You know why I didn't have the chat open? That's why.
Mhm.
Okay, I see it now.
So the first part of the question is, what is your current monthly
Monthly
capacity for
capacity.
servicing clients? In other words, how many can you service in a month? And I picked a month's time because when we're looking at our revenue goals, we usually look at per month, right? So that's
Yes.
the first. How many can you service in a month? The next question is, out of the strategies that we talked about today, which one do you think will be most impactful with you figuring out how to tighten up and open that capacity so that you can service more clients, therefore make more money in a month.
Yes. Okay, sorry, I didn't have the
Okay.
chat open.
No
So
problem.
I think, okay, so this is kind of a trick question. Not really, because there's several different aspects of my businesses. So if we're taking the part where the production end of it, right? I could comfortably do 5 because I have in the past somebody said, "Can you do something in 2 days?" And I've done it. So I know I can. The question is,
Okay.
do I want to do 5 people in a month? Not necessarily, and especially not if I have to actually physically schlep equipment someplace. Hell to the no. Virtual, yes, I probably could, right? But then again, that ties me to a specific time and place that somebody's quote show or whatever has to be, which
Yeah.
takes away from what I'm doing. So I have the capacity for 5. Do I want to do 5? No, which brings me to what you were telling Dr. Latoya Davis in terms of group type of things. So teaching you how to fish rather than me fishing for you.
Exactly. But even in the fishing for you, what you are exposing is the opportunity to delegate, right?
Yes.
Because
Mhm.
if we, when you have to be live somewhere, that's why we see the famous photographers. What do they have? They have people that come and set up. Even they have people in charge of their equipment. They have photography assistants that set up the shot, and they just come in and click the button half the time, right? So if you looked at your videography live production that way, then if you wanted to expand that capacity in excellence, then that is an opportunity for you to fill the gap and not be a solopreneur on that end. So that is another thing that is to consider for that, Dr.
Yes.
Patrick.
Yes, indeed.
Cool beans. I love it. I love it. All right, Heather, I know you feel like a hit dog like Dr. Toya. I know it's a lot, but what is your current monthly capacity for servicing clients? Like, how many can you service in a month? And which of these strategies that we talked about today will be most impactful to help you to tighten up and open up that capacity to service more clients, which will then end up being more revenue in a month?
So I can handle 5,
Okay.
depending on the type of project it is, right?
Mhm.
If it's a 90,000 word memoir or, then that would reduce capacity a little bit depending, because it depends. But if it's the type of client, if I actually get the client that I want,
Yeah.
then I could do 5 for sure.
I love it. I love it.
Um, but I think out of this list,
Mhm.
oh damn, there's so many.
Yeah.
But I really think the number one is to do the revenue per hour benchmark.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, that is because when you said it, like the hair stood up on the back of my neck, like, oop, that's a good one. Because uh depending on, well, I'm just gonna say it because it sounds mean, but here we are. Depending on the quality of the writing that
Yeah.
I get, it
Mhm.
could take longer or shorter depending on the quality of the product that comes to me.
Yes.
So that
So what that says is what we know about clients is we can't charge one rate and then come back and ask for another. So wouldn't it be
correct.
better to just charge the top tier
All the
and
time.
even offer a rebate if it's not as bad? You know what I'm saying? Put
Hmm.
that money in trust where you don't take all of it. You leave some over there that you could possibly refund if it's not as bad as you think it is. But most of them are the fuck bad as you think it is. That's what we know for sure.
100%.
So I say that means you have to charge on the top end. You
Yeah.
have to treat it like it's gonna take up all your time.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, yeah. Cool beans. All right, over here on YouTube, Glow is over here, but Keith is also over here on the YouTube. Glow said, um, number 4, number 5. I plan on raising my prices August the 3rd. So 4 and 5 were utilization rate, so what she's doing with her time, and then revenue per hour benchmark, which is why she's saying she's raising her rates in August. I love that. Keith said, "Good morning, everybody. I'm going to watch the replay." And then he came back and said, "I service 4 clients per month." So what that means, Keith, is you definitely are going to have to look at your pricing, right? You're going to definitely have to look at that pricing. Also, go through the strategies to see if you can tighten it up and slip in some more clients. But I want you to pay attention to the rest of the week too, Keith, because the number of clients and your capacity is not the only way to be bankable. And we're going to talk about that more and more as the week goes on. Glow says, from what I see in my lock business, I service at least 80 to 100 clients a month. Baby, you sound overworked. I just wanted to take a nap when I read that. I was really hoping that was 8 to 10, and I saw that extra zero on each one of them numbers and was like, what the hell? So Glow, what that tells me is that's probably why you're not able to give a lot of time to your podcasting. That's probably why you're not able to give a lot of time to your community. And so you might want to look at your pricing, number one, because see, you're doing volume. So what that lets me know is your pricing needs to go up. Number one, okay? Number two, you probably need to, let me go back and see these strategies and see which one I think is closer to what I'm about to say. I think what is closer is, I don't think it's I don't really think it's cleanly mentioned in here, but you got different kind of clients. Glow. Glow said, you got me. Yep, I know. Then Glow said, I am overwhelmed for real. I know, I could tell by just that number you gave me. You also need to have cap off your time slots per day. Right? There's a time for, somebody that is new to locks. There's a time for refreshing locks. There's a time for somebody coming in and getting locks styled. Now, I don't have locks, so I don't know everything that can happen with a locks, but you should have different time slots per day and days per week that you're capping this stuff off. But see, you're doing 80 to 100 because your price too low. And so if you don't do that many, you can't eat. So you need to number one, raise your prices. Number two, stipulate certain time slots for certain services based on how long they take. Let me give you an example on how I do that, okay? And that is, I have certain time slots for CEO, COO time slots. I have time slots for pick my brain time slots. I have time slots for discovery calls. I have time slots for VIP meetings, and I have time slots for my coaching programs. And those time slots tend to repeat, right? So I know exactly what my default week looks like. So I'm not setting myself up to be as default overwhelmed. Okay. Dr. Toya has locks, and she said, my loctician probably sees at most 30 people a month. I can't imagine the volume you're doing. Yeah, that lets you know her price too low. When you out here acting like the dollar store, then that means your stuff low. And so therefore, a lot more people are willing to, at a lower risk, give you money. But you're going to have to be more confident. You're going to have to do that social proof stuff so that you are seen as somebody capable so that you can raise them prices because all of that goes together. Now, y'all said not dollar store. Yup, because she over there. I already knew. So tomorrow we're going to talk about future revenue positioning. Okay, because we're going to answer the question, how can I show ongoing revenue to be bankable? All right. So today we answer the question, how can I handle more clients to be bankable? Tomorrow we're going to answer the question, how can I show ongoing revenue? But for today's operational capacity, does anybody have a question? Was anybody not able to smoothly apply a strategy to what they do? Any question, any aha moments, any value adds? Glow said, confirmation word, confidence. Yeah, baby, I know y'all. I ain't just met y'all. I'm just telling you. All right, I don't see any questions. So, let's go into our announcements. What's happening this week in your free business mastermind group? Well, today from 5 p.m. Eastern time to 7 p.m. Eastern time, we have a paid members only get shit done work session. Paid members, you can check your Google Calendar or your member dashboard to get details. Okay. If you want to be a paid member to get the extra work sessions, the full work session time, plus all of the things we do to achieve our business goals and make more money in business based on the utilization of our time, go to shaycannon.com/membership. Now, That price was supposed to go up for July. I don't even know if I changed the price. I've been so busy. So you might want to go over there and see, did I change that price from $97 per month to that 147, or I was thinking about 197. So if you think about getting a membership, you might want to go over there and get started, because I don't have a recollection of changing the price, but I might have. But check just in case, shaycannon.com/membership. All right. Thursday in our free business mastermind group is movie club night. I'll add details in the group soon. Your job will be to watch the movie wherever it is before the 7 p.m. Meeting time, because at the meeting time, we're going to go over our business nuggets that we pulled out of the movie so that we can learn from the movie. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all, I saw a movie recap about a movie. If I can't find the movie, we might be looking at that 5-minute recap, because it was chock full of stuff. So I might do it a little differently this month, but I'm gonna try to find the movie. Now, it might be a movie with subtitles. Might be a movie with subtitles. But I think it would be worth it if I can find this movie. All right. But I'll keep you posted. All right. This has been the Her First Six-Figure Morning Show, which is an interactive coaching and training experience as part of our free business mastermind group that positions Black and brown female online service-based entrepreneurs to generate your first six figures by learning how to make the money and create time freedom. Find out more about me, your host, Shay Cannon, plus links to resources like how to join our highly valuable free business mastermind group and how to get the show notes from today and recent past shows in the description below. If you have not already, give me a thumbs up, like this episode, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and understand that today's video is going to be one out of a 4-video series, so make sure you check out the other videos. And with that, the studio is closing in